Adults, what is something every teenager needs to know? The life you're building right now and the choices you're making are more important than you know or think. But before I launch into that, let me say that a very important part of life is exploring, experimenting, and experiencing as many of the wonderful things that life in our diverse world has. That being said, please take your education, credit, health, and social relationships or social presence seriously. Being educated and having that degree or trade skill can be the difference between struggle and opportunity. Paying your bills on time, saving, not overextending or maxing out your credit, and being fiscally responsible can be the difference between owning a home and renting your entire life. Taking care of your health, watching your weight, not falling prey to misuse and drinking problems, and addressing your mental health can and is the difference between suffering and having a rich and fulfilling life. Having good friends that want the best for you and are there in times of need. Not posting things of a dubious nature to social media. Learning to love people, especially your family, who they are, and knowing your worth and not letting it hold you back from finding love can and is the difference between going to work and home and sitting there alone and having a family and a life to come home to that supports, challenges, engages, loves, and makes happiness for you. Now, I know that sounds like a lot and that right now you just want to have fun and enjoy your life. But please remember to seize every opportunity to learn, grow, make friends, find love, be frugal, and build a future for yourself. Please don't fall into the trap of partying every night and weekend and thinking that you still have time. I say all this because I didn't do these things and I thought there was still time while I was drinking every night and weekend, partying every chance I got, doing substances, and sacrificing everything to have fun. Then I woke up, sobered up, and realized I'm 40 and don't have an education, a credit score in the 500s, poor health, and no true friends or a partner. When I quit partying, my so-called friends disappeared. They didn't care about me. The only thing they cared about was the substances and drinks it could provide and the validation of their lifestyle. Don't be like me. Please, I beg you. I'll never own a home. I'll never get to have a car. I'll never know the wonder of bringing a child into this world. I may not live 10 more years. And at 40, finding love and making friends is much harder than I ever imagined. Don't pity me either. Just take what I say to heart and live a life full of wonder, joy, and opportunity. Love each day to the fullest and enjoy the time you have. But always keep an eye to the future. Have fun, but be serious when you need to. Either way, life catches up with you, and I don't want any of you to have my regrets. Who knew that just one more round could turn into a lifetime of if only? Story 2. For me, I have only 3 friends and literally nothing else. I understand that this is all someone really needs, but truth be told, I want more. I don't necessarily need more close friends. I just like to have some casual friends as well, you know? Some people that can just be like, hey, Space Cheese, you're a cool guy. Want to come to the lake with us for some tubing? Unfortunately for me, that won't happen for a while. I made the mistake of avoiding people at school because I thought they wouldn't like me, which of course caused them to avoid me. Then the rumors started, and after that, it was done. I'm 18 now, graduated back in May, and I still don't have a job. Starting college in January. But in the meantime, I wish I could find some more friends. Maybe I'll get lucky and find a job with people my age. I hope. Story 3. I graduated 10 years ago from high school, and none of those people are in my life now. So take your time being you, and grow your self-esteem and talents now over wasting time trying to impress those pricks you won't ever remember in a few months after graduation. I'm not saying drop your friends. Those are a very important aspect of life, especially in high school. What I am saying is drop the politics and drama of your school. I know it feels like it is the whole world now, but if you let those who try to bring you down, who mock you, who try and pressure you will not be around forever. Worry about building yourself to being the best you that you can become. Still have contact with a few childhood friends to this day, just not really any I made in high school. But all those negative, drama craving, and those downbeats in general will not follow you. Story 4. This is going to sound cliche, but just be yourself. Having friends is important, but don't act like them just to fit in. You may not entirely know what you are yet. And by not being yourself, you're going to lose your true self in the mix. If you're lucky, it'll take many years and a lot of soul searching to even bring back your uniqueness and then clump that all together to learn who you truly are. I made this mistake. I'm 37 now. It took me 20 years to undo everything because in college and afterwards, I was a chameleon, changing my personality with each group of friends I was with. I had no idea who I was. It took a lot of work on my self-esteem to recorrect my thought process. High school is really tough. As hard as it might be, try not to feed a pester with more ammo. Ignore the person and they'll get bored and move on. Also, try to enjoy life. Responsibly, of course. You can have some great, fun, and happy years as a teenager. Figure out what activities you love most to do and do them. Hang out with positive people. Put yourself first. You're going to get hurt, but the feelings will pass. I promise. These are all things I didn't do as a teenager. I had a traumatic childhood, and its effects really started to hit me as a teenager. It led to miserable years, and it could have been so much different. Story 5. There are things you can get away with when you're legally underage that you can't as an adult. I'm just saying, take care of your body. Be active. Brush your teeth. Have a good sleep routine. Talk about your problems. Learn to experience and express your emotions in healthy ways. Do your homework. It's not about proving you can do some rote, and it's about forming a good study habit. Even if you don't go to college or university, learning how to learn will help you immensely. Learn about finances, taxes, bills, and insurance early. Get your parents to involve you in the mundane adult stuff so you aren't caught unaware when reality hits you. Learn the skills that were commonplace for older generations, such as cursive, Latin, and geography, and learn to navigate without GPS. Learn to read the room. At some point, possibly into adulthood, read books on regular etiquette and Robert's Rules of Order, which governs or establishes guiding principles or etiquette for everything from business meetings to congregational hearings. You'll understand why older people have such weird expectations. If you aren't ready to accept responsibility for something, don't tangle with it. If you can't raise a kid right now, be choosy about your partners. Do you really want to be stuck with this person in your life? Co-parenting with someone manipulative is absolutely miserable. And be extremely careful when you do have intimacy. Pregnancy isn't the only worry here. Likewise, you may want to move out, but honestly, it's best to stay home and save your money as long as you can. Most rents cost about twice as much as mortgage in the same area or neighborhood. The difference maker is whether you have the capital to put down and the credit for a reasonable interest rate. Build your credit to get a better rate. Story 6. Very late to this thread, but remember that sometimes even well-meaning advice from very wise people can be out of date. When I was a teen, conventional wisdom was to buy a house instead of rent as soon as you could, and buy all the house you can afford. And this was because for my parents, my grandparents, for most people in the country for as long as anybody could remember, home values almost always went up over time, especially in the long run. It would be the biggest transaction you'd ever make and probably your best investment, and it was only going to get more expensive. And then there was a housing crash, and the housing market got messy. Guess who wound up moving and taking a mid-5-figure loss in a lovely house when he moved out of state? This guy right here. On the plus side, a nice young family got a lovely 1,800 square foot home in a nice, safe neighborhood for a very reasonable price. There will be changes in the RL meta. The advice you get about careers, finances, etc. might wind up invalid as the world changes. Story 7. Treat sugar like you would substances, because it is one. Enjoy in moderation and don't eat or drink it every day. Your teeth and skin will thank you. Wear sunscreen every day. I'm 30, but people always assume I'm way younger because my skin isn't damaged. Sunscreen, sunglasses, and covering up will make you age like wine. Don't buy new cars. Yeah, they're fun and smell nice, but the depreciation the minute you drive it home, as well as increased insurance, interests, and taxes, don't make it a viable financial decision. Also, any trade-ins will be undervalued by a lot. If your car is still running or in decent shape, selling it to a private party on Craigslist is better than taking a small trade-in value at a dealership. Best real-life example I have of this is when I tried to trade in a van in great shape and the dealership offered me $2,500, even though I owed over $7,000. I listed it on Craigslist and sold it for $9,000. So, never take offers from dealerships. They're garbage. Remember, sugar, sun, and new cars. They're all fun until you realize they're costing you more than just money. Keep your teeth, skin, and wallet happy. Story 8. You need to learn how to cook, clean, manage money, and look after your health now. Otherwise, you're in for a lot of suffering. Don't tell your secrets to anyone, not even friends, because most friends you have while you're young will lose, and then they become a stranger with all your secrets and you have no control over what happens to that info. Make your parents, family, and close friends the pinnacle of your life. Don't let your studies or career distract you, as despite how high in priority they are, what you will miss the most from your youth are the connections you had and the memories made. People pass away and are gone forever from this world, but money or careers will always remain. Prioritize. Don't let stress coerce you to binge eating or drinking or taking substances or sleeping around or whatever else your habits may be. Truth is that there is always going to be stress in your life at any given time. So does that mean your habits will be ruling you forever? You need to learn how to manage your stress via various healthy coping mechanisms. Learn how to switch off. Learn how to be grateful for the good things. Learn how to have fun at the same time. Learn how to seek help where need be. Learn to let go of things that don't serve you. It's okay not to know where you want to be in adulthood. Just keep making an effort towards making goals, and soon you'll find your calling. Sometimes your calling is one thing, and sometimes it's many things. There's so many things I can think of, but these are the first to come to mind. I'm 25, and believe me, your best years are yet to come. Just work hard, have fun, and trust the process. This is very true. Anyways, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button for more videos like this. Story 9. Interest either crushes you when you owe or creates wealth when you lend. Save 10% of your money in an investment account and don't touch it until you're ready to retire. Do not rack up debt. Only buy used cars. Get something reliable, but something you don't mind getting dings and scratches on. Has decent gas mileage and is easily affordable and has insurance rates that are reasonable. Your friends today will not be that important someday soon, so don't ever tolerate people who don't lift you up and make you feel better about yourself. Cut toxic people out unapologetically. If your parents are pleading with you about something, consider the fact that they might have been through what you're going through and their advice could actually be rock solid, because they're actually thinking, I wish I would have told myself this. I try to tell this to my kids and only hope it sinks in because I didn't listen to anyone as a teen myself. Believe in nothing. Question everything. Story 10. I spent my early life thinking that enjoyment was the goal. I was never successful anywhere because I didn't stay long enough. Although I was always praised for my ability or skills and told I was going places, none of that materialized because I never had a plan. I coasted for 15 years, not really having any complaints in my life, but also not going anywhere. In my 30s, I decided to start making some changes. Now I'm 41. I've been an engineer for a couple of years. After completing a degree in my mid-30s, I'm struggling to buy a house, invest, and get married. Point is that if you want something in your life, the logical progression of things getting better doesn't happen on its own. Life is cruel and harsh, and that isn't going to help you with anything. Get busy living or get busy ending. Story 11. Things have a way of getting better. It's just a matter of time. Treat your body, your mind, and your relationships as if you will live past 30. Chances are you will. It's okay to make mistakes. Everybody does. Just learn how to avoid repeating them. If you have hurt someone in the act of making a mistake, apologize or make amends in a genuine way. People generally do not mistake kindness for weakness. Try to act and think with love and not anger. It feels better and works better at making friends and solving problems. Hard to believe, but many adults like and respect teens and remember the fun and also the difficulties of that age. Many things never really change, but many do. We know that your lives can be stressful in unprecedented ways that we never had to deal with. We love and respect you, and truly want you to succeed and be happy in whatever path you choose. Story 12. The measure of whether someone has the potential to be a new friend of yours is not whether they like a bunch of things you like. It is entirely possible to become friends with people who like a ton of things you've never heard of, or even already decide you dislike. You are at a spot in life where a lot of your likes and dislikes are subject to change anyway. Biggest thing. Make a new friend often takes time. Lots of time. Much longer than movies and shows make it look like. Find things to do, groups to join, city league sports to play in, keep learning about the people you see repeatedly. Far too many early 20s people who report having no friends made a premature judgment that one or more prospective friends were off the list, when it just needed a lot more time. Making friends in your 20s is like navigating a maze blindfolded. It's confusing, but eventually you'll find your way. Story 13. Life is cruelly unfair. No matter what field you go into, whether it is food service or medical or anywhere in between, you will encounter bosses who mistreat you and get away with it. Coworkers who force their work on you and get away with it. Customers who will mistreat you and get away with it. People who get 17 chances and mess them all up and still get more, while you get one and an honest and minor mistake mess up your whole life. You will be judged by your interests, your hobbies, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you walk, the color of your hair, eyes, skin, your beliefs or lack thereof, your opinions and views on politics. Everything and anything you can imagine, and it will usually be by people with some degree of authority in your life, and they will mess things up for you because of it. You will get knocked down before you can stand back up. Some days will be a massive struggle. Some days will feel impossible. Most of the time, you won't get what you want. Sometimes you won't get what you need. You learn to cope by placing more value in your friends and family. On your time off of work to do whatever you need to and hopefully some stuff you want to, you learn to let the stuff roll off your back and keep your head above water. It will never be easy. Not for long, at least. It will always get worse before it gets better, but you learn how to handle it, how to make it. Maybe you'll find solace in someone else, or maybe yourself. Life is hard and it will keep getting harder. Maybe at the end of it, you'll look back and be happy. Understand that things got this way because people let them. As hard as it is to just make it work harder to fight back and improve things where you can. Otherwise, you'll be telling your kids the same things, all while understanding their life will be harder than your own. Story 14. High schooler here. If there's one thing this thread has taught me over the advice that's actually given, it's that everyone lives and experiences, and therefore the skills and requirements for them are completely different. In this thread, there's advice from you don't need college for a good job to learn how to learn so you can get to college for a job. There's stuff about how you should keep your dreams for hobbies and aim for high-paying jobs. Then I scroll down a couple comments and now you want me to follow my dreams to make sure I actually enjoy my job. There's people who have cut ties with everyone they know, to people who are married with their young love and still go out drinking with their high school buddies. You can't last 5 seconds down here without a contradiction. I feel like I'm watching a political debate. The actual content of these comments has taught me. Most of it is stuff I've already guessed, have been told a million times, or it's just plain stupid. The most important lesson and taken away from this is that life is very different for everyone. Maybe I have the mindset of money job is greater than dream job, or maybe the other way around. Maybe I'll regret taking an extra course or two in college, or maybe I'll regret dropping out. The lesson that I've learned today is that when I'll be able to properly drop a reply in this thread, giving the youth a slice of my adult knowledge pie, the kid that's reading it probably won't end up using it or will end up leading them down a completely different path and one they would have wanted a lot more at the end of the day. Story 15. If you want to do something, let go of comfort. Put your head down and work hard. Many people want to do things and leave them as dreams because they convince themselves they can't. It's not normal. There are whatever obstacles. Most people settle. Don't be them. Be resourceful. Do fact-based research. Talk to people who know about what you need. There are so many ways around issues that will arise. Example, my brother and I had a very difficult childhood, multiple passing of family members in a short amount of years, including our mistreating dad. We struggled in high school with grief and trauma. We were poor, but we figured out how to live sparsely and traveled to different parts of the country to see beautiful things. We tried out different jobs and didn't settle for minimum pay because we work hard and do good work. We always found the highest paying jobs in the areas we lived and were efficient at doing them. We found vehicles we could live in and moved from the Midwest to the West Coast. My brother started college later than me, when he was 27, and when he did, he decided he wasn't going to get buried in student loans and that he would figure out a way to go to one of the best schools in the West Coast, because that's the area we loved the most. He studied extremely hard, didn't go out much with friends during school terms, worked a hard job, tow truck driver, applied for every scholarship, formed great relationships with his professors or people in the financial aid department or friends. He got scholarships. He got on the honor roll. He did all this while living in his vehicle because the rent is too high here to afford along with school. He earned a 4.0 every term for 2 years and applied for admission into great colleges in the West Coast, including Stanford. A pipe dream, never expected to get in. He told his story in the admissions essays. My brother got his acceptance letter from Stanford this summer and started classes last week. The point, work yourself off harder than the masses are willing to in order to get where you want to be. As Will Smith said, as quoted in the book Grit by Angela Duckworth, the only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to pass away in a treadmill. I will not be outworked, period. You might have more talent than me, you might be smarter than me, you might be sexier than me. You got it on me in 9 categories. But if we get on that treadmill together, there's 2 things. You're getting off first or I'm going to pass away. It's really that simple. Well, if you like these stories, here's more. YouTube thinks you're going to love this. Catch you in that video.